Winning Blueprint presents.
5 minutes or less.
So I've had so much success with it in the past, I'm bringing it back, the 5 minute or less series. Welcome, I'm your host Lou. Thank you for joining me. 5 minute or less series. This time, it's the scheduled release variety of the 5 minute or less series. I'm here with the Kansas City Chiefs. Got 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get started. So anytime I look at a schedule, the first thing that jumps out at me are the primetime games. I'm looking to see how many you have. And the Chiefs were not a good football team last year. Even though Andy Reid has come in, he's brought John Dorsey in as his GM, and they've really changed the landscape of the Kansas City Chiefs franchise. That doesn't take away from the stink and the stench of what last year was. And so, by virtue of last year's abysmal performance, you had to know the Kansas City Chiefs weren't going to get a lot of primetime exposure. However, the NFL made sure that every team gets at least one primetime game. They put that rule in a season ago. And so Thursday Night Football is the platform that everyone has to be displayed on. And so the Kansas City Chiefs have one primetime game. It's a Thursday night matchup, week 3 at Philadelphia. That's Andy Reid's coming home party. So that's going to be a big hype up there. We'll see how that one goes. But once the football is kicked off and the game is being played on the field, no one will be thinking about that. But it'll be fun to talk about Andy Reid's tenure in Philadelphia and him going back. And we'll see what the Chiefs look like. But that's the only primetime game for the Kansas City Chiefs. You look at divisional games. Oakland, week 6, you got them at home. Early season matchup in a division. Look, the Raiders are an improved team. They're a new look team. You still got to beat the Raiders. If you want any shot of winning this division, you got to beat the Raiders. And you got to beat them twice. You can't afford to let the Raiders beat you. Until the Raiders prove that they're a good football team, you can't allow the Raiders to beat you. I know it's a divisional game. All divisional games are tough. You got to have those from the Raiders, though. You look at week 15, you got to go to Oakland. And it's a tough place to play, but you got to go to Oakland, find a way to get a victory. You look at San Diego, week 12, you got them at home. Got to find a way to beat the San Diego Chargers. They're one of the teams standing in your way of getting this division. You got to find a way to beat the San Diego Chargers. Week 12, you got them at home. Week 17, you finish up the season on the road in San Diego. That's a tough place to play. That's a tough game to have at the end of the season, especially if that game has playoff implications. That could be a tough one for you on the road in San Diego, week 17. You look at Denver. That's the team that's going to be standing in your way of a divisional crown. The Broncos are the division champs. 2 years in running. It's your job to try and stop them from making it a third. You have them at home week 13. Got to find a way to win home divisional games. Then you have to go to Denver in week 11. You want to make a statement, go 2 Mile High, find a way to win that football game. You look at anomalies. Anomalies for me, any stretch of games that are 3 or longer on the road or at home in a row. Then you have 3 out of 4 at home or on the road, or 4 out of 5 at home or on the road. It's rare in the league for a team to have 4 out of 5 on the road, but it does happen on occasion. You look at the home anomaly for the Kansas City Chiefs. 3 straight home games. When you get 3 straight home games, you will pay for it somewhere on your schedule. Trust me. They're not going to allow you to get 3 straight home games and not have you go 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 or 3 straight on the road at some point on your schedule. So you look at this home anomaly. Week 6, Oakland at home. Week 7, Houston at home. Week 8, Cleveland at home. So you got a nice little stretch at the middle of the season where you've got 3 consecutive home games. You got to take care of business. You would love to get all 3 of those, but really, if you don't, you need 2 out of 3 for sure. You look at away anomaly, and this is what I'm talking about. You had to pay for it somewhere on this schedule. You got 3 out of 4 on the road. Weeks 14 at Washington, week 15 at Oakland, week 17 at San Diego. So you finish up with a tough stretch on the road. You got to go East Coast to the Redskins. You got to go in the division twice on the road. Oakland, then you got to finish up at San Diego. So that's a tough anomaly there at the end of the season. But you can handle it. Got to be tough-minded and be able to get wins on the road. You look at your bye week. That's week 10. That's a perfect time for a bye. That's the perfect time to recharge your battery, middle of the season. You can't ask for it much better than that. Coatsy for me. Coatsy for me is circle on the calendar games. And this one is easy. You're going to Philadelphia, week 3. Andy Reid going back to his old stomping grounds. It's going to be a big media frenzy. It's going to be a huge game. It's going to be fun to watch. You look at your timeout, and every team to me has a timeout on their schedule. For me, your timeout is 5 of your 6 divisional games come after week 11. And that's huge. Week 11 and beyond, you have 5 out of 6 of your divisional games. If you want to win this division, you need to be playing some of your best football after the bye week because all of your divisional games are coming at you fast and furious after that bye week. And so you hear that sound in the background, that means it's been the Kansas City Chiefs schedule release in 5 minutes or less.
5 minutes or less.